So let's see the draft that's posted. There we go, revolutionizing business operations. Bam. Nice little blog post there. Perfect. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create blog posts just like this with pretty much the click of a button using this n8n workflow, which you can get completely for free in the school community. There's a free trial, so go get it. Or you can watch this video till the end and we will do it step by step, building the entire thing. Now, essentially what we're going to create here is this chatbot, which is accessible anywhere on the web, so as long as you can log in and stuff, right, to your own n8n account, you can get it here, and you can just have a chat back and forth, like, for example, here. It says, my name is Blogmaster, what do you want to blog about? And I've just said about AI. We've said n8n in business automation, gives us a few ideas, and I'm like, let's go for number 2, which is real world applications. Then it's like, right, what about this outline? And it just gives us here a standard outline for the structure, and then suggested keywords, and I'm like, cool, let's create a draft. It generates this entire draft, then publishes it to my WordPress and sends me the link to go check it out. So let's go and build this inside n8n. So first things first, you want to go to n8n.io, and you either want to sign in here and use the cloud version here, or you can host it yourself, so you can actually locally host n8n. I have videos on that as well. So I actually have it self-hosted and on my own website, as you can see here. So once you have n8n up and running, which I'm assuming you do, if you don't, there'll be videos on my channel about how to do it. It'll be inside the school community, etc. But basically, this is what we're going to create. So I'm going to click plus workflow, and we're going to create a brand new workflow so we can do it from scratch. So the first thing we want to do is add our trigger. So for our trigger today, we want to add a chat message because we're going to create a chat bot. And then we want to make this chat publicly available if you want it to be publicly available. And you can add some authentication, so you can do some sort of credentials. So you can do something like user and then pass, save that. And so now we can go straight to this URL. Oops. First, actually, we have to make this active. Got it. Boom. And now we can go to this URL and then you sign in, user pass, and then you have here a chatbot. Boom. It's literally that simple. So we're going to switch that off just right now because it's easier to test inside here, but we'll put it back on at the end. So to test it inside here, we just open chat. You can just type away in here, but as you can see, we get no response because we're not connected to anything. So what we'll connect to first, just to show you how it works, is we'll connect you to an AI agent. So this AI agent here, the source for the prompt is the connected chat trigger node. We'll change this to define below, and we'll actually pull this in, because that means that as we add, because as you recall, there are layers between the chat and the agent, as we add them, it will continually reference the chat. Because connected chat trigger node would mean the one that's connected, whereas in future we'll have stuff in here so it won't be connected. Quick interruption before you continue with the workflow. If you want to create blogs just like this, completely for free, instead of having to use and create some workflow like this and host it, etc., you can literally just sign up, write in a couple of keywords and generate this with essentially one click. You will be interested in this tool we're going to show you, SEOwriting.ai. Now, stick around and I'll show you exactly how you can do this for free, and then also a discount code if you want to end up creating like thousands of these. So, let's get into the tutorial. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can do a one-click blog post, bulk article generation, or even just humanize stuff. So ChatGPT notoriously looks like ChatGPT, everyone hates it, use Humanizer. You want to start a blog, use bulk article generation. One-click blog post is probably the best for what you're actually going to get results-wise, but if you want loads, do that one. So we'll go one-click blog post first. Now normally, keywords, I'm an AI guy, but instead let's do something completely different today. Let's look at trainers, i.e. sneakers. So since we're targeting an American audience, let's do sneakers. Running. Boom. Right, let's generate a title from here. And so we'll let AI decide a title based on the keywords we want to hit. Elevate your running with Nike sneakers. Boom. Perfect. So within the core settings here, we can change the language. We'll go US and we'll target the US too because it's the biggest market. Article type, You can change here to whether it's a how-to, product, etc. And then you can change the size too. We'll just go with medium, article type, none, that's fine. Tone of voice, you can go friendly, professional, informational, inspirational, blah blah blah. Because we're doing running, let's go inspirational. Point of view, first person, second, third, all none. We'll go none, that's fine there. AI model, so this here is the AI model that you can actually leverage that's going to write this. So we can either use the default one, which is a mixture of models and expertise, or you can use Llama 4, Claude 3.7, or DeepSeek V3 with real-time SERP. Now, what is real-time SERP? Well, real-time SERP essentially analyzes top competitors and optimizes text, images, headings, and more with our powerful content editor, and they'll have a content score that shows exactly how to improve your rankings in real time. Now, this leverages SERP here because, as you can see, we scroll down, it basically gets the keywords and it's like, what's a good one, what's a bad one. So, super cool. So you can actually use that, or you can use your own API key. So I can use my own API key, for example, for GPT-4o because I've plugged that in, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. Now, text readability, we can change what kind of grade you want. We'll go for 8th and 9th because it's recommended. It's the easiest to understand without being too complex. You can also add a brand voice here too, but we're just going to go with none. Now, if you have any details you want to include, so specific prices, trainers or whatever for this one, for example, or you want to talk about half marathons specific, we could talk about that in here. Now, the cool part here, and what makes it so good, not only is it one click to generate it, but this example here that we created using our workflow is just text. Now, with SEO writing, what we can do is we can actually use the Media Hub to include images and videos. So if we go AI images, number of images, we'll go say 4, and then we can also add in YouTube videos. We'll say add in like, I don't know, 3. Now this will be able to go and get images and YouTube videos that we can use inside our blog post, which will be super informative. For example, using Nike running. It could have actual shoes, actual pictures of people running inside it as opposed to just text like this. So then we can also include specific keywords here. So we can click on here and there you go. Boom. NLP keyword generator. Sorted. And then the structure as well. So we can add a brief structure if we want using this here and using these settings. And then if we have any internal linking, we can use this here. So if we click on add a website, for example, if you have a WordPress site and you're on the business plan, or I think if you're self-hosting, you can then go and install the SEO writing plugin. Now, personally, on my actual personal WordPress, so not any client one, just my personal one, it's not the business one, so I can't plug it in. But for plugging it in, you literally, it's so simple. We'll click and connect here. You can see you install the SEO writing plugin. You go to plugins, add the new plugin, search SEO writing, click install, activate it, connect it to your account, and that's you literally done. You are already now connected to WordPress, so whenever you actually create this blog, it'll just go boom, straight there. Now, we can also create marketing materials based on this on other platforms. So not only can it write this blog post, but then it can go and post it to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, newsletters, WhatsApp, whatever it may be. Right, now that we're done, if we scroll back up to the top, we can click on run, and there you go. It's now going away and creating this blog post for us. In the status, you can watch that happen, and then here you can repeat it, delete it, or pause it if you want to create another one. So whilst this is running in the background, let me show you how you can actually add your OpenAI API key or Anthropic, and also install WordPress from the SEO writing side. So on here, you got your profile, you go simply to integrations here, and then this will pop open this here, and you literally just paste in your OpenAPI key in here, and that's you just toggle it on, and boom, it's sorted. Now as for pricing, you do get a free one where you literally get 5 articles per month, so that's more than 1 a week. If you were doing once a week newsletter, this has you completely covered. But I recommend the starter plan. It's only $19 a month and up to 50 articles, so that's more than 1 per day. You also get the content score with real-time SERP, so that's what I was showing you, where it's like you have 70 out of 100. These are your bad ranking words. Let's change them. It gives you access to DeepSeek, Llama 4, unlimited words, Humanizer tool, a brand voice as well, and you can bulk generate stuff. So definitely recommend the $19 a month one. Additionally though, they do have Professional and Professional Plus. So say you're working with clients often, you could, for example, use Professional or Professional Plus, hook up their WordPress sites, and then you can generate up to 250 articles, or up to 500, 1,300, 5,000 articles per month on these plans here with multiple brand voices covering all of your clients. Now, let's go and check out the blog and see what it's created. Oh, and I also forgot to mention 25% off if you use code DATALOOK, which means that you will get the build yearly discount, but for your monthly pay. So that's $14 a month. If you're in the UK, that's like £10 a month. Absolute bargain. So, DATALOOK, coupon code, check it out. So, if we click on in here, now that it's done, so here we have the resulting blog post, Elevate Your Running with Nike Sneakers. That's a slick picture. Are you aiming to change your running game? So as you can see here, key takeaways, YouTube videos that it's pulled in, Nike running in 2024, benefits, more pictures, top features to look for, popular models, and there's running shoes explained. I mean, this is amazing. This is exactly the type of websites that I would land on when I was training for my marathon. I wonder if SEO Writing had actually written them. That'd be interesting. But I had used their affiliate links, I think. So, anyway, if you want to check out SEOwriting.ai, use code DATALOOK. You'll get 25% off. It will be the first link in the description below. If you use it, let me know. Let me know how you're getting on. Anyway, back to the video. Now, once you have your AI agent, you need to connect it to a model. I'm going to use OpenAI. You can use Gemini if you want to use it completely for free, or you can also use OpenRouter. OpenRouter's pretty good, so I'll show you this here. Let's click plus, OpenRouter. Now you can connect to this here and you get a bunch of models, so like every model ever. If you just search free, you can find which models are free, which is pretty cool. So quickly, OpenRouter, the way to get the API for this, for example, is you sign in, you go to keys, which was actually behind my big head. And then you're here, click create key, give it a name, and then it'll create a key. It's literally that simple. As for OpenAI, we're going to go to platform.openai.com. We're going to sign in here, or sign up if you're not already signed in, because you don't actually get your API key from ChatGPT, you get it from OpenAI. ChatGPT is the chat service, OpenAI is the company. So from here, you want to click create new key, which again is behind my big head. Give it a name. You can give it some degree of permissions if you want, or not. Create secret, boom. So once you've got that, you then come over here. We'll open up our AI chat model. You want to select a credential, click here, paste it in, click save, and that is literally it. From here then, you can just change the model. Now we're going to go for the 4.0 mini because it is the best for the price. So they're actually pretty cheap. If I go quickly to platform here and go to usage, I think it's in, what tells the total spend. So I've been experimenting with this blog post and workflow for ages, and you can see here that it's what, 10 cents on the 24th of April. That was ages ago. So literally like yesterday it would have cost me like a couple of cents making this, as you can see. Yeah, nothing really. Versus then was like 1 million tokens, 10 cents. For reference, 1 million tokens would be like an hour's worth of transcribed YouTube videos that include timestamps. So quite a lot of information. No, you won't be using it here. So we have this, open up the chat, we can then say hi, and this time we'll get a response. So on this open chat, we can either reuse the message, which will just bring it into here, or you can repost the message, which will just send it in. There you go. Boom. So we're connected to OpenAI. Click on memory. We can then go to simple memory. And from here, we're going to give it a context length. So I'm just going to go for 10 because then it will remember the last 10 messages. Now here it says JSON session ID, and that's because it has to remember the ID of the sessions, not the actual messages themselves. But we're going to change it to define below. We're going to pull over session ID, and boom. That's so that when we add stuff in here, again, same as the chat message here, so that it recalls that it's this specific thing, not that it's the predecessing node. So now we have a memory, so we can say something like, I'm Luke, and then I'll say, what's my name? And it'll remember. If I delete the memories, so remove that there, not delete the memory, but delete the connection, and resend it in, it won't know who I am. Boom. So there you go, that's the power of that. Sorted, right, so we now have this AI agent that we can communicate with. Now, what we want it to do is we want it to be able to do a few things. So we're going to go into Tool. First of all, we want it to be able to post to WordPress. So on WordPress, you actually do get this WordPress API tool, and you can connect some sort of account. Now, the issue I found is that I don't self-host WordPress. I don't host it somewhere. I was just using WordPress.com, and you can't get this to work. At least I couldn't get it to work using that way, even with the application password. If you do self-host it, I'll quickly show you. So in WordPress here, if you go to users, add new user, from here you then will have an entire form, and you can give it a username, blah blah blah, and then an application password down the bottom, and it's the application password that you'll use in here. Now, I don't have that luxury right now, so we can't use that. Instead, we're going to use an HTTP request. So you can see here we get HTTP request tool, and this tool will allow us to send HTTP requests, which are essentially requests for information across the internet. So from here we have HTTP request. This first one, we're going to do it for WordPress drafting, so we'll rename it up the top to WordPress draft. Boom. And then we'll give it a description so that the AI knows what this tool is for. Now, the method is going to be post. The URL is going to be this URL here, which you can see, public API WordPress.com REST blah blah blah. Right, I'll show you how I get this in a minute. Then authentication none. We actually are going to have authentication, but it's better with an n8n to just send it as a header. So basically, when you send something across the internet, you give it some standardized structure, right? So this is like using HTTP, and this is going to be a post. Then it'll have some header. Then it'll have some content, right? And it's like that, and that's the standard thing that it expects. So if we go back here, we'll go to use fields below, and we'll give the first one, we'll call it authorization, bam. And then the value, we will actually give it this value, because you can let the model decide values, but we want to give it a value. And we're going to give it the value of, bearer followed by your API token. And then after that, we're going to send the body. And if we scroll down here, we can go and we're going to give it a title, and we'll let the model define the title of the blog. We're going to give it content, so we'll let the model decide that as well. And then we want to add status as well. And for this, we're going to select it manually and call it draft. Boom. So we now have this here. This will actually work straight out the gate. So let's do something simple like write a super short, simple draft and send it to WordPress. Give me back the link to get to it. Boom. And so this should, off the bat, just go and actually do this. There you go. Hello world draft. Let's open that up. And you can see here that it has created this simple draft. It's that easy. So we now have a way for AI to create these already. Now, the enhancements we're going to do to this little simple blog agent is we want to try and get it to actually understand our preferences. So what do we like? I like, for instance, concise language. I want it to be able to pick up on that. Additionally, I want it to use keywords. So I want it to understand and figure out the keywords that I generally use, and then always use them everywhere in all of my blog posts. Thirdly, I want it to be able to search the web, because I want it to be able to go online and find out what is the latest in AI, what are the best keywords, who are your competitors, whatever it may be, right? So first we will add in a search the web. But first, actually, let me go and get the details for how you can get the API token for WordPress. So for this, it's a bit of a nightmare to get it, or to figure out how to get it. But luckily for you, I've already done it, so we can you can use my hard work to actually find this out. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, I think it's developer WordPress apps, and then from here you want to create a new application. So you want to log in here and then create new application, which is behind my head. Create new application, and you'll get given this screen. Now you want to give your WordPress website, so that's here, blah blah blah, my name. We go over here, I'm just going to give it that name. that's fine for me, but I'll give it number 2 at the end. Description will be the same. Website URL is your website URL. Your redirect, this doesn't matter. So put in whatever you want, doesn't matter. For this example, 8 and 6, that's 14. They do that to test that you're a real person. And then you click create. Now, what this will do here, oh, my redirect can't contain that. Cool, so we'll just go for localhost /callback. We need to have the HTTPS or HTTP, I suppose. Well, that's fine. And then create. So localhost callback, it's not going to go anywhere, and it doesn't matter. Unable to create it. Oh, it's because I hadn't put in the numbers. So before I forget, because it has this every time, but it clears it. It's like a captcha. So we'll have this, redirect, localhost, just my computer /callback. Won't actually do anything because I don't have anything running. Create. Boom, application has been created. So if we scroll down, if we go to this one here, boom, right, so this is now your site. So you can see we have this information. We get a client ID and a secret key, blah, 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 all this stuff. Let me reset the key because I noticed last time that I had to do this for it to actually work. Now, from here you can see how I got the URL. So if we go back to our WordPress, we go to that's that one, public API WordPress, then my site ID, posts and new, and we can see that basically that's how we got the public API WordPress.com REST thing. It's from here. Now I'm going to be completely transparent. To then actually get the rest of this information and figure out how to get it, for example how to get this token, I had to ask ChatGPT. So it turns out that the way you get it is you give your client ID and your secret to WordPress, and they give you back a token that you can then use. So let me get that information for us right now. Right, so we want to go to this URL here, and we will update the redirect URI to be wherever you've given it. So we have, for example, here, this localhost, and then we want to change your client ID to your client ID, which you get here. We'll go up here, paste that in, and then from here, we just send that in. It will give us back some response. Oh, localhost /callback, maybe. There we go, right. So we approve here. I'll change whichever one you want it to be. We're going to go for this one. Click approve. Right. Site can't be reached. That's fine because the information we seek is this here. We want this code. So this is the code that we're going to use to then go and get the token. Because essentially what happens is you need to get your client ID. You need to get your client secret. You use these two to then get a code. And then you use all of these. I know it's a crazy process to then go and get your essentially your API key, right? And then it's your API key here that you actually use to do the post. So let's go back to here. No, this one here. We've got that code. Make sure you copy it. Let's go back. I'm back. Boom. Let me refresh this. Sorted. I'm going to reset the key just to make sure we've got the one that should work. So the next thing we want to do is send what's called a curl command. So a curl command essentially is a request that you send over the internet, kind of like when you hit a browser like this and you put in a request here. It goes and does something, connects to a server. It's kind of a similar thing to that, and it will give you back some information. So what we want to do is, I'll just go to blank page just to show you how it works. Is we'll have this here, bam. Also, don't normally do this in blank page. I don't know if they're scraping this. Probably though. So, we're going to paste in our code down the bottom. So that's our code. Authorization code, that's fine. Redirect URI is localhost /callback. Then we need the ID and the client secret. So, if we go back to here, we can get the client ID here. Paste that in. Whoops. Bam. And then the secret we'll get, double click on that, copy that, paste that in. Right, so let's copy this now, and we're going to run it inside of Terminal. Terminal is essentially a way to interact with your computer, but without having to click buttons and stuff. So we have this here. It's basically you can code stuff in. So we paste in that curl command, press enter. Oh, invalid client ID, right? So this happened before, and basically I had to then just reset this key. Let's reset the key. Reset. Make sure that all the details are correct. HTTPS localhost callback 117.248. So it should be fine. 117.248 should be fine. Paste this in again. Let's copy that. Invalid client. Bam, there you go. Yeah, so it was this little space here. So now we've got our access token, which is this here. Now this is the information. If we copy that here, Command C, open up n8n, we'll go to our WordPress draft here, scroll down, and this is where you'd put it in here. So I'll paste that in, and we'll test it again. I'll say go again, make sure it works, and boom, there we go, it works. And so you can see that's p equals 16. Just make sure that it did create a new one. P equals 15. Yeah, so there we go. Boom. We have it now posting drafts using our brand new API key. Perfect. Right. So we have the WordPress working and you have it authenticated. Everything is all good. Next, we want to add in our web search. So if we click on plus, HTTP request tool again, we're going to use Brave Search. So let me close down some of these tabs. And then we'll just go to brave.com/search/API. Now, there is, if you're familiar with a model context protocol for Brave Search. So you can see there's a bunch of servers. We have Brave Search. Model context protocol is essentially a way for your AI agent to be able to interact with websites and tools. But instead of having to program everything that it does, it can go and figure out what it's allowed to do. But for search, we literally are just searching. That's all we're doing. So there's no need to introduce this degree of complexity. We can literally just use the Brave Search API. So the first thing you want to do, go over to Brave Search, sign up. It's completely free for, as you can see, 1 query a second, 2,000 a month. So you'll probably not need to upgrade. Free's probably fine for you. It's fine for me. So sign in or sign up. I'll sign in. Then once you sign in, we're going to go get the API key and we're going to get the command to run the API. So I know that, for instance, with n8n, it's a no-code, low-code solution, but using these HTTP requests and even using sometimes the execute command tools and stuff as well, or running code, can actually be really handy. Because more than anything, it's good just for having this visual structure of how to use stuff. So if we go back over to Brave, submit. I have a code to authenticate myself in. Let me go and get that on the other screen. Bring it over, paste it. Oh, that's my token. The code was 37518. Bam. Cool. And that should be us in. Now, so we're in here. You just go to API keys. You literally just create an API key. So we'll call this one blog agent. Click add. And then we just go to here and click copy. Now, we've copied this here. This will now be our API. So, to actually use the API itself, what we can do is, and I'll show you a little hack here, is if we go to Brave Search, because I was going to just show you how to actually do it, but why don't we just go to Brave Search and I'll show you. So, on Brave Search, where is the quick start? View the docs maybe. There we go, right? So it shows you here the example request. So again, it's a curl. You go to this URL, right? Search Q equals, and then this here is your actual query. So Brave plus search. And then you accept its application JSON. So you're basically saying it's JSON. Encoding is gzip. So that's how it's encoded. And then here's your token here. So if we copy that, one thing you could do instead of this like HTTP request tool is in here. We could execute it as a command, but HTTP request is the best way to do it, so that's why we use it. But to go in here, you can't use the curl command in here. However, if you have an HTTP request here, so in your actual workflow, you can import the curl. So if we paste that in and click import, you you can see that it auto-populates all of this for us. So if you're ever confused as to how to get from curl to HTTP, you can just use this. So now you've got this. We can't actually use this as a tool because you can see it just won't work. It won't connect to it. But what we can do is we can open it up and we can have a look and we can see what to do. So get URL, let's copy that. We'll open this one. We'll go get URL, paste that in. And then the other one is send query parameters, use define queue and then the value. So that one's queue, right? So we open here, we go send query parameters, queue, and here we will let the model define it for running it because we don't want it to just automatically search for Brave Search. We want it to search for whatever the model wants to search. Then we want to send headers, so accept application JSON. Let's open this one up. Send headers, and we'll go this one here, use defined, accept. I think the next one is accept encoding. Let's double check. Oops. Open this one. We'll go accept encoding, gzip. Let's open this up. Add parameter, accept encoding. Go below, gzip, bam. HTTP request, and then this last one is X subscription token. So let's open this here. We'll add the last parameter. Oops. Oh no, it's not query parameters. All of these, are they? These are body. Oh no, they are headers. Oh, fair enough. I've been pasting them into the wrong bit. Query, so these are all should be headers, application JSON. Let's add it down here. And then this will give the token. So sorry, let me move that one here. Accept encoding is not a query parameter. It is it's a header, not a query parameter. Oh, I've confused myself. Let me open this one back up. Query parameter is queue, headers is everything else. Right, okay, I thought that. Query parameter is queue, headers is everything else, so accept, and then this one here is accept encoding, gzip, paste that in here, nope, in here, bam, right, so we have query, which is this here, headers, this, right, so our token is our API key, so come along here, copy, paste that in, bam, and that should literally be it. So we can just change now the description and the name so that our agent actually understands what is the purpose of this tool. So we'll call it search the web, rename it, and as for the description, paste this in, searches the web using Brave Search, queries must be passed in like this. If your query is Greek restaurants in San Francisco, it must be formatted like all lowercase with pluses instead of white space. Cool, so now we could test this out here by saying what's the latest news in AI, and because this is not a workflow as such, it's an agent, it will just search the web and give you that answer back. It's not automatically going to use WordPress unless you actually ask it to. So we can see here, there you go, here are some of the latest news articles, May 4th, cool. So it has access to the internet. The reason I know is because this date is way after the cutoff for the 4.0 mini model. So next I want it to understand my preferences and the keywords that I typically use, and for that we're going to use a database. Now the database provider we're going to use is called Airtable. Now Airtable is a super simple way to literally just have tables online, so super simple database. Just sign up, and then once you've signed up you want to create a workspace. We'll call it, say I had agent builds, we'll just call one here test. That's fine. And inside this workspace, you want to then create something in here. So if we click create, we want to start from scratch. So just a blank table. Now, from here, this is now our base. Let's rename this to pref key. That's fine for me. Preferences and keywords. And we want two tables. So our first table, we'll rename this to preferences. Save. And then we will delete these. So click on one, hold shift to the end, delete 4 fields. So we'll just get one, and we'll rename this to preferences, or preference I suppose. Save that. And then we want to right click, duplicate, duplicate. Here we'll call this one keywords. Save, and we'll write in keywords. Now, here we're going to do it super simple just to get it started with just one field, so keywords. So all this will do will save keywords and save preferences. It doesn't save which draft that it's attached to, which headline, which topic, etc. But you could consider how to do that going forward. This is just a simple one to show you how this actually works. So preferences and keywords, that's our two tables. We want to be able to now insert into these. So let's just add something in first. So we'll go artificial intelligence, will be fine. Artificial intelligence, and then preferences, I'll write concise. But we'll delete, oops, get rid of that, what's happened here? I don't know, that's fine, and we'll just add some info in. Test2, and then just since it's here, test3. Right, so now we want to get the API key. So if you go up to U in the top right here, and then Builder Hub, and inside Builder Hub here, it's so simple. You literally just go to Personal Access Tokens under Developers, create new token, and give it a name. So we'll call this one Blog Agent 2. You want to give it a scope, so what's it able to do essentially. So see the data and records, create, edit and delete records, and then if you want it to have any of this other stuff, so schema reading, webhook, etc, etc. But I think these should be sufficient for what we're after. And then access, you want to add a base. For our base, we will add it to pref key, and then create a token. It will now give you this token. Let's copy that, click done, come over here, click on plus tool, then we'll go to Airtable tool, which is just behind my head. Let me see if I can move me. There we go, Airtable tool here, click on that, let me move me back. And then you want to connect it to a credential, so click create new credential, and here you paste in the token, save, boom, that's it literally connected. So for these ones here, what we're going to want to do is we want to add preferences and we want to add keywords. So tool description, automatic, resource, record, operation, we want to create. So base, we want it from the list. Let's see here, is it going to work? Check credential now. What is it? What's happened here then? That says that it should be fine. I need to refresh maybe. Let me come out of this, let me save, let me refresh just to make sure everything's pulling fresh data. Airtable, from list, check your credential, it does appear to work. It's because I can't read any of the schema stuff, so that's not enough permissions. Interesting. Well, I thought I'd try it anyway, because I normally give it unlimited permissions. It turns out you possibly need it. So we'll add in everything here. I think, yeah, base schema base is read and write, yeah, so that'll be why. That's fine, just everything, so we don't encounter this again. Pref key, create token. Right, so we'll get a new token here. Let's copy that, click done, go back here, change that, and then we'll just paste in the new token. Save, it'll test the connection, perfect. Right, so this time it'll pull it through, pref key, table, it'll pull it through, preferences and keywords, we'll go preferences first, and then mapping column mode, so manually map them, preference, and we'll just click on here to let AI define it. Now I had in a previous tutorial a guy saying that this button no longer existed, or it wasn't there on his. For reference, this is what it looks like when you click the button. These colour braces, then inside $ from AI, open brackets, and then within single quotes you have the key, and then you have the description, and then you have the value, so string. You can literally just have one like this, and that is enough for it to understand the context, but you may need more if you want it to actually work. So anyway, I'll just let the model define, and then the description will just say preference. Now we want to give this a name as well, so, or actually no, I don't need a description, it'll be fine, because it's all called that. Go up here, we'll change this to add underscore preferences, and then we'll rename that, and boom, that will do us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste that, and this time we'll call this add keywords. rename that. Everything here is fine. Change the table to keywords. And then the values to send should refresh. Keywords, click there. And then boom, that's that done. So we now have, add this tool. We now have the preference and keyword adding, so continue to add. We have search on the web, and we have posting to WordPress. So the final thing we have to add here is the ability to update preferences and keywords. So let's move the chat out. Maybe we need to zoom out a little bit here. What we'll do is I'll delete this here. So we want to add or read preferences and keywords so we can pass them into the agent. So if we click on plus here, and then we'll search Airtable, which again is just behind my head. And then you want to say get a record. Now from here, we'll change the credential. Record get from a base. We'll use pref key. Table, we'll go preferences. And then the record, no, sorry, it's not get, it is search. There we go, search, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to return all of them because this could end up with loads of keywords. Let's just limit it to 20. That should be fine. And there we go. So what we can do is come out of this. I suppose let's rename it to preferences so that we understand what it is. Preferences, rename. And then we'll duplicate it. And over here, we'll have this one for keywords. And what this will do is it will bring back our, let me see that map correctly. Yep. What that will do then is that will go and search for keywords that are related to what you put in. Now, once it brings them back, it will bring them back in, I'll show you here just briefly, bring them back in this kind of format, like so, right? And what we want to do is we want to aggregate these so that it's just a list of preferences. So the way we're going to do that is, the next step we add is aggregate. So click plus, aggregate, which is just behind my head, and then this comes up. And we want to aggregate in not individual fields, but all item data into a single list. Output field will be called preference, and then all fields, and that'll be fine because it will now pull this into a list, preferences. Boom, and then we'll paste that again down here, and this one we'll just change it to keywords, and we'll map that across. There you go. And then after that, we want to merge these two together. So click on plus here, search merge with the first one that comes up, and you want to combine for all possible combinations here. And there we go. And we'll merge these two together, and we'll whack that in there, and we'll move this up. Boom. So now what this AI agent will do is it will go and get your preferences and keywords, it will aggregate them together, it will merge that all together into information that then the AI agent can get. The AI agent will then use this information. But how? Well, this is where system prompts come in. So prompt engineering essentially allows you to have control over the response of your AI agent or your LLM generally. Now, if we open this up here, this prompt user message, you can see that's json.chat input. Let's delete that. We'll open this here, and we're going to go when chat message received. We'll open that. Let's execute it. Let's just say something. Hi, that's fine. Let's open this, and we'll go back to here. And that's so, no, that's not going to work. Let me see. Why not? Why are you not working? There we go. Right, we can just stop this. That's fine. Right, so let's open this, and we go here to input when chat message received, and we'll pull the chat input into here. Now we want a system message, so again I have used ChatGPT to assist in writing this system prompt or system message. Normally it's you are a helpful assistant, but we are going to change that. So let me do expression so we can use this button and pop it open. We'll paste it in here. Now it's a big long one, you can pause it and have more of a read. It will be inside the school community, etc. It'll say, you are a blog master, expert, blah, blah, blah. Your goal is to help create fully informed, SEO optimized HTML blogs. Now, here is the interactive workflow we're asking it to follow. Topic exploration, ask clarifying questions, propose 2 to 3 topics, then iterate until the user confirms. Then we create an outline and key points, blah, 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 draft the HTML, SEO and technical checks, then store the keywords and preferences for next time, then automate the publishing and give us back the draft posted with the URL. Now here you can see inputs you will receive. Topic, which will be given or talked about by us. We'll then have keywords, which is an array of strings, keywords here, and then preferences, which is an array of strings or object or string preferences, right? Now, the way you get these here is, if we go onto this here, the previous nodes, I collapse some of them down. I suppose this is the one we want. And inside here we can see merge preferences keywords. So what we can do here is, I'll show you, if we delete that, I can just pull that over. Preferences to here. See, it's exactly the same. Keywords, pull it over. It's exactly the same. Cool. So now we're able to actually follow the flow. Let me delete that. Then we'll go and check the simple memory, because I don't think, has it pulled the same thing? Let's just add it again, session ID, just to make sure. Perfect. Right, so let's make this chat publicly available. We'll just have no authentication because that's fine for now. We'll click copy. You can change the initial message to say, hi, I'm Blogmaster. Let's blog. Or actually no. Hi, I'm Joe Blogs. So let's copy this here. We'll make sure that it's on active so that we can actually see that chat. We'll make sure to save it, which is behind my head. We'll open up a new page, paste this in, and we can go here. So let's chat away. So we'll say something like, I want to write a blog about the latest in AI. And so if we go to n8n, we won't be able to see it now because I think it'll be in this running execution. So you won't see it automatically running like you would if you were testing it from here. But it will talk to you. So there we go. Great topic choice. What specific aspects? Blah, blah, blah. I'll just, let me say, you can decide. And then we'll see what it comes back with. Moment of truth. So, topic option 1, future of AI, 5 groundbreaking innovations, AI and ethics, how transforming every day. Oh, 2023. Maybe I'll need to tell the system prompt what date it is today, or what year. Let's go with topic 2 anyway. Topic 2, please make sure your info is up to date with the latest. And then from here, it should draft our outline, and then this outline, we'll be able to then tell it to go and pad it out with some information for our blog. And obviously the idea here is we're talking back and forth, so this is like a human in the loop, essentially. But you could obviously have this automatic, so you could say hook it up to whenever you have a YouTube video, right? I just made a YouTube video to newsletter, n8n workflow, which is, again, is in school, but it's on the YouTube channel. And then from there, you could actually get, instead of a newsletter, you could get it to create this blog, or you could get it to do both, you know, which will be pretty cool. So I'll say, sounds good. Boom. And then it should go now and write this out, draft it, push it up to WordPress, and we'll go check it out. So, moment of truth. Let's see. Let me know, right? So, there we go. Jesse keywords, that was the outline. This is now our final one. Perfect. Go. And now it should give us a draft link, which you can then follow and go and see it on WordPress. Now the reason it's in HTML here, as you can see, is so that it actually renders properly inside WordPress. Because you'll often find that LLMs like to respond in Markdown language, but not this here. So, draft posted, AI and ethics, let's open that up. Bam. AI and ethics, navigating the morality of machine learning. And there you go. And you could obviously get it to pad this out, add stuff in, add pictures, etc. But for today, that's the one we're going to use. For adding images and stuff, there's a variety of ways. One of the main ways you could try right now is using OpenAI's image generator one. Now I do have a workflow for that, which you can get. It's inside of the that is not the one there. It's inside the school community anyway. I have been working on one, but OpenAI still haven't approved me so I can verify that I am a real person, which is unfortunate. So I haven't been able to use it in the API. But anyway, there you go. That is how you can create. So there we go. That is how you can create a WordPress blog super simply automatically here on n8n. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to check out SEOwriting.ai if you want a simpler solution and you don't want to have to maintain it yourself. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the school community if you want to learn how to apply AI from the ground up. Until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.